working with BOI and the Bank of Industry. Next slide. When you look at the next slide, I want to talk about cement. We started before 2011. But what has happened between 2011 and today? Are we working is the answer. Are we delivering results here? In 2011, the installed capacity for cement was 16.5 million. Today, it's closer to 39.5 or 28.5. 39.5. It was 16.5 million when we came on. Today, it is 39.5 million metric tons. When we came in, there were about $9 billion had been invested. Today, it's more than $15 billion, and it is increasing. When we came in, the number of jobs that were being supported, direct and indirect, were less than 600. Today, the cement sector supports direct and indirect about 2.2 million jobs today. Importation, we spent at least 5.2 million. Today it's down. In fact, government has not issued any import license since 2013. Our main focus going forward are only four, because that sector has actually developed into almost a maturing one. Four areas of focus. One is to improve standard, and we've started working on it. The second is to bring the price of cement down. I've said this so many times, is to bring the price of cement down. And they must do it, because we don't do price regulation. There has been an announcement a few days ago, I think on Sunday, that one of the players is bringing down his price of 32.5 by 40% from 1,700 naira per bag to 1,000 naira per bag. The 42.5 is coming down from around 1,800 to 1,150. There have been complaints about what's happening. Don't worry, we know what we are doing. We have competition policy. We have antitrust thing that we're looking at. We have competition bill going to the House. We will make sure that in this country, industrialists, investors have the confidence that they will continue to play on a level playing ground. Leave that to us, the regulators. But Nigerians have asked you, they want it. I have asked you, the price of cement has to come down. I am grateful for the initiative of the players in the industry for bringing down the price of cement down by 40% a few days ago. That is progress for the consumers and for our country. Of course, the other two areas is standard. It's the issue about demand. We want to increase the demand of cement, not just for housing. In India and other countries, you use cement for roads. I'm delighted that we're working with the Minister of Works to achieve that. That very, very soon, you'll see our roads, in terms of durability, cost of maintenance is going to be a lot cheaper. Cost of doing it initially is more expensive, but over time, it's cheaper. And we're working with the Ministry of Works to increase that. And the fourth area is area of export. We want them to be able to export. They're already exporting. That started in 2010. I can see the Managing Director and CEO of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council nodding to acknowledge the point here that they've started exporting cement. Again, in 2011, we were not even there. But today, we have not only gone to 39.5 installed capacity, we've not only increased the level of investment, the number of jobs, but today we are exporting cement out of this country. Next slide. So overall, when you look at the loans, this is a BOI. Number of loans approved in 2011, 272, compared to 1,609 in 2013. Value of loans approved by BOI in 2011 was only 36.1 billion. In 2013, they approved 198 billion. Value of loans disbursed was about 38.5 billion, and they disbursed 150 billion. And number of jobs from the companies they have supported were about 178,000 in 2011. Today, we're talking about 2013, we're talking about 669,000. This is telling that in all the metrics, we've actually exceeded all expectations there. So in all areas, we're making good progress. Next slide. This next slide talks about matching fund. This is a new approach which BOI is doing to reach the bottom of the pyramid Nigerians in all the local governments in the country. So they have an initiative where they work with the states and provide matching funds. Today, we have at least about 10 or 15 states involved: Anambra, Delta, Edo, Kwara, Osun, Ogun, Gombe, Ondo, Cross River, Kogi, Ekiti, Niger, Oyo, Kano, and total they have about 14 billion naira. This is not the money for big industrialists. It is for the people at the grassroots level. So the people that do not require, that we don't want to, they don't require collateral to borrow money. To make it easier and make sure that we fund such people. That is why this initiative was put in place by the Bank of Industry. I'm delighted that the state government have bought into this already. And those that haven't, that they will buy into it. Next slide. Next slide. There's a bit of confusion here. Someone said, I have 5 minutes here. The SA had told us we had 40 minutes when we started. Someone said 30 minutes, so I will make the decision. There's no decisive direction. I make that decision. In terms of manufacturing, you can see where the growth is. It's gone up by 26% in manufacturing. But let's move quickly. Let's move quickly. Of course, now in terms of infrastructure, we have never had a national quality policy in this country. And we've never, ever had a national quality infrastructure to support our industrialization and trade in this country. So for the first time, we now have this in place, working with EU that has given us about $12 million and UNIDO. And the 4 deliverables are that we will now have a national standards and quality policy. We are 90% there. A national accreditation board that will accredit laboratories, and of course, a national and accredited laboratories. If you don't have accredited laboratories, what it means is that when you're exporting, they will have to be inspected in those countries. It will have to meet their standards. If you don't meet their standards, they reject it. So you lose money. So most of our exporters have been losing so much money because we did not have accredited laboratories in this country. I was just told that today, or this week, 2 of our laboratories in the area of food have now just been accredited, which means that anybody exporting food, cocoa, and all that, there's a laboratory in Nigeria today. And once we test it and we say it is fine, it means that you can export it anywhere in the world. That was a problem in the past. Next slide. Next slide, let's move quickly. Now, in terms of inclusiveness and job creation, just before that, we have, okay, move the slides. We can't see your slides. Okay, in order to have job creation and inclusive growth, the president launched the National Enterprise Development Program. It's the first time in this country that we will have a program for one coordinated program for the SME sector. In the past, everybody just did whatever they wanted to do. But today, we now have a program for them, and that was why the president launched the MSME Council, which is, again, new in this country. Next slide. In terms of cooperatives, and as part of that, reaching the grassroots, today, SMEDAM, again, to avoid the issue about collateral, SMEDAM, for example, has set up about 55,000 cooperatives in 774 local governments, based on areas where we have competitive and comparative advantage. They have worked with them, and they are working with FIRO as well to make sure that the equipment is there. They work with them to prepare a business plan. These companies, these cooperatives will be funded by BOI, microfinance institutions, and the CBN fund. But the whole idea is that in that 55,000 cooperatives, there are 825,000 members. This is our initiative to reach at least 1 million people every year through the One Local Government, One Product initiative. Next slide. The SME Council, you can see that was launched by Mr. President. Next slide. You have the Jobs Creation Board that was launched by Mr. President to make sure that we focus on that, and we create about 3 million jobs in 2015. That is new also. So again, when you're comparing 2011 and 2014, We never had an integrated development